All right, this is Thomas together with my friend Shafiq here in Gothenburg, and we are going to discuss the TakeMeAway project. I just posted a link to this hangout on the Slack channel, so hopefully somebody will join us. But in the meantime, without any further waste of time, we can have a discussion about the requirements of this project. So we had a little discussion off camera. Welcome to you, first of all.
Thank you, and thank you for showing the interest to take over this project. I think it will be quite an exciting time coming up.
Yeah, we see this as an interesting learning experience, all of us. So So I was just driving some stuff on the board here. Perhaps I don't know if people can see that, or if you place it here on this little table. Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely, yeah. So you'll be a little bit off camera here, but she's just going to sit down. So yeah, so we were talking about some of the basic structure of this project. You know, we're talking about the back-end application where you will be able to configure your dishes. You know, the products you want to sell. Package it into menus, daily and weekly menus. You will be able to record information about users that we call clients right now. I don't know if that's a good terminology, but in a restaurant you have a client or guests. So,
yeah, guests.
But so we settle for something, and you will be able to receive payments for your takeaway orders, and you will receive a status whether we use PayPal or if we use Stripe or any other payment. You know, we can use the Swedish Klarna Faktura or Klarna credit card processment. But I know that for Klarna there is I think there is a 600 crowns a month fee for that. So you want to be careful with that probably. So yeah, Raul will join us probably soon. And all that information will be stored, of course, in a database on the server. And what we've talked about yesterday is that we will build this application, this backend application in Ruby on Rails, and that gives us a good opportunity to both build a web-based interface for you as an admin to go in here and define all these things, but also we can easily build an API that returns a JSON response to any other systems that will like to access that data. And what we said before off camera was that with this architecture you are able to build a web-based application, a native phone or tablet application or whatever. You can also, if you want, but it seems unlikely, but any other computer systems can access this information if you let them do that. So for instance, if there is I'm just thinking out loud, if there's you have an HR application for a big firm somewhere here in the house,
Actually, one spontaneous
So the code itself will be open source. Then of course all the information that you enter into the system is your proprietary thing. Nobody will be ever able to access that, because once the application is deployed and gone live, of course the all the info is yours. So there will be no. I mean, we don't want to participate in any sharing of any business secrets or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Understood.
and of course, if we develop any sort of a front end for you, as I said before, this is a much simpler application, but it requires more, design knowledge, because this is the part of the application that will be visible to the clients.
Cool.
So you want to have that pixel perfect, basically.
For regarding this front end, I'm already talking to a company who can deliver that part. But then it will be good to know if the things that the platform that we are creating, will it be compatible?
Yeah, well, it depends on them, of course. What we can give you and what we can give them is the structure of the API calls. So we can tell them that in order to get the weekly menu, you have to ask this question. And in order to make an order, this is what needs to be done. And if we document that and give that to these people, then it's okay. Absolutely.
Perfect.
But what we plan to do for you is that we can create a front end application without any styling, just bare minimum. And then if you go to a web shop or and just tell them, okay, this is what I have. Can you make it look good? It's much easier for them to do that. So absolutely. But we'd be happy to collaborate with anybody, outside, anybody outside. And I see we have Mario with us. How you doing, brother? You're muted, but perhaps you cannot talk right now. Mario, do you hear us? No problems. Okay, perhaps he cannot talk right now.
Yeah.
So the basic requirements, what we need from you, we need your time, basically, because you are the business owner. You know what you need.
Yeah.
We know system development and architecture, but we don't know anything about restaurant business. We've made an initial data model, of course, but it's only something that we, as restaurant goers, could assume is the right thing to do. So what we need from you initially is to work with us in meetings a little bit like this, even though now we're just talking about high level goals, and after a while we will boil everything down to do tasks in terms of what code needs to be written, etc., etc. And we work in a method with an agile approach to system development. So we continuously map whatever we do to your business needs. So we spot any misunderstandings or mistakes we do on a very early stage, because in a traditional software development method, you give us a requirement, on day one, and then we come back 3 months later with something, and that something could be something completely different what you wanted, because we kind of misunderstood something in an early stage and we took the wrong path. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to initially meet with you once a week, for a client meeting, and after a while, when we brought ourselves up to speed, it's probably enough to see each other once every 2 weeks, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy to join any of the meetings. Just let me know a little bit in advance so I can.
Yeah. Well, what we probably do, we set one day, so it's always that.
Okay. That's even better.
But it's a little too early for me to say that right now. Yeah. But yeah, so let's say we say Wednesday afternoons or whatever. It depends a little bit on the people that are.
I think let's take the whole crowd and then decide on it. Yeah. And if you can decide on the day, it will be perfect. Then I can tailor my other activities.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's very important, because these meetings are fairly important. We don't want to be stuck in a meeting more than tops 45 minutes. You know, it's really tops. It's half an hour is much better because we just talk about the certain things, make quick decisions, and then we go back to work and you do whatever you have to do, right? So that's it. And then another thing is that we will assign a project leader for this project. It will not be me. I will be mentoring this person personally, so we know that he's right on track. Because what we want to, we want to give you the best solution we can. But what we want to get out of this is, our junior developers needs to learn how to do certain things, and our project manager wants to gain experience in leading a project. So he will be working with you as if you are a paying customer. You are, your word is the law, all that. But so this is a learning project. It's like if you go and get a haircut in a school where hairdressers are, you can't expect the best possible quality because it's a learning project. But we do make sure that the quality is assured.
Absolutely, for me it's just a perfect match. I cannot expect any more than that. So I think it will be really good.
Cool. So what I will need from you off camera perhaps is an email address, so we can add you to. You will be getting an invite to a tool that is called Pivotal Tracker, which is the project management tool that we use for this project. So you can see what activities we are planning, and you are free to give suggestions on features once you learn how to use that tool. So that's pretty cool. And then we will set that date that we spoke of earlier, and I will tell you who is the project manager, project leader for this, and we can kick this off. And so what we said initially, and what I think is a good idea, is that we plan a 1 month sprint on this right now. So 1 month of engagement from us, and we'll see how much of this we can do in a month. And when we are nearing that end of that period, we do an evaluation, basically. And probably somewhere in the middle, after 2 weeks, we will have something that we call a sprint retrospective, which could be a good thing for you to attend. So we can talk, okay, so we are happy with the communication with the client, we did this good, we did that a little less good, perhaps. There's a room for improvements. So we will have one assessment in the middle and at the end of this month, and a little bit depending on how the team feels and how you feel, of course, we can extend that period to yet another month. Because since we are working in this agile approach to system development, we want to focus on the bare minimum of the functionality that you can accept as the business owner, and we want to deploy that as a ready-to-go application. And then we can build upon that, and iterate through sprints.
What is your impression? Typically, how long it takes to make such a first level?
I mean, this is not a very complicated. Application. So I say that we can, with the bare minimum of features on everything, we can do this in a month without a doubt, probably. But then, of course, I can, on top of my head, come to think about a lot of features. Like, okay, so if I define a menu, for instance, for 1 week, I would like to be able to copy that menu to next week, or I want to go over history data of my menus to just, instead of doing that again, I want to copy that stuff. Okay, so that's a feature that it sounds very easy and it's not too complicated, but it's an extra feature. So I would say that could go to the icebox for the next phase, right? So like the orders.
What do you mean by orders here?
Yeah, well, so if I, as a user, as a client, log into to your application, to this app, right? I can view today's menu. There are 3 or 4 dishes. I don't know how many dishes a day you have. So, and I want to say, okay, so give me one of those, and I want to click the button. That's an order, and that order needs to be processed. So you have to get that into your system. He has to provide some sort of a payment information, whether it's I want to pay on place, or I want to pay by credit card or PayPal. So let's say you want to pay with credit card. So he places that order. That order is not okay until the credit card company says, yeah, there are money in his account. So that's when it's okay. So I would say that ordering food, that's the whole thing, with this application. That's the most important part of it. So I would say that a lot of our focus needs to go on this part, right? And then, of course, as you said earlier, so he has paid for the order, and now he comes to my catering business, and he wants his, so I have to mark this order being delivered, so that he cannot come in again and ask or whatever, for the same food, etc., etc. So all these features need to be designed before we can do it.
And it needs to be sending out some email or SMS confirmations when someone is placing the order.
Yeah, that's a very important thing. So this is something that we need to talk about, with the dev team. So what are the exact steps of an order? So does he get an SMS? Does he get an email? What do we want here? And also, I was thinking about this, that, if we're going to accept credit card payments, we don't need to make users register with your application, because it is like, it's a black or white thing. Either there is money in your account or there isn't any money in your account. So if there isn't any, there will be no order.
For the recurrent customers, then maybe it's good to have the credit card information saved somewhere.
Yes,
otherwise,
which is illegal. So we cannot do that.
It's illegal?
Yes, it is illegal. So you cannot save credit card information.
Okay.
So only certain companies can do that.
How does it work with the subscriptions?
Yes, they are not saving that information. Their credit card providers are saving that information. So you can, I know, but it's, you cannot have that on file, basically.
Then we make it as simple as possible, and the interface.
But but again, it's a good thing, for if Åke or whoever works in the building wants to order lunch every day, he will be pissed off if he has to type the information all the time. So we need to find a way to save that. And I'm not sure you can do that with PayPal, for instance, but I'm fairly sure that if they have a PayPal account, they can store that information themselves. But with Stripe, which is another service provider, you can store that with them and pull that out.
How about Swish?
Swish is, I don't know much about that technology right now. I believe none of the guys will.
What our experience is that many people like to use Swish. And, well, there are benefits and drawbacks, both. The benefit is probably that the money transfers immediately, which is not the case for credit card. Credit card takes 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, I know.
But that's not a problem. The issue is that the benefit of Swish is that when it comes to money, it also comes with the email, phone number to the account.
Yes.
Can we somehow utilize that phone number to
send
back?
We could probably do that. But first of all, there's a workflow issue here. So if there's, I don't know much about Swish yet, so I have to read about it. But from what I understand, I can swish you money if I'm, standing in front of you, right? They have to be physically close to each other.
No. No, it's online. So
it's online because I thought it was like a connector.
No, it's an app. It's an app.
Okay.
So what it does is it goes to your bank account and you have to verify through bank ID.
Okay.
Pays off.
Okay. I would say that it's a very good feature, and we can research that and try to incorporate that. Everything is possible. It just depends a little bit on time.
Absolutely.
But we can see, in the simplest form. As I spoke to you a few days ago, in the simplest form, you let the customers see the menu, choose the dish, and pay you in cash on site, or so that's the simplest solution. Sure. But we all understand that people don't want to do that. First of all, nobody in Sweden goes with cash anymore. No. So we need to be able to accept some sort of electronic payment.
Systems,
So I would say that one of the simplest solutions is PayPal. I know that some credit card information, companies are very easy to integrate, and we can have a look at Swish, of course, to see it.
Only app thing maybe would be good to have. I don't know if it's possible in this project frame. That is something to do with the daily, well, in Swedish it's called kassa register.
Yeah.
Some kind of trace back of how much is sold in it.
Yeah, we can build in a report
some kind
generation.
Of report. Yeah. Report generation.
Yeah. That's not a biggie.
we can't use this kind of platform unless we have that reporting.
Yeah.
From
so what we will need from you is, when we come to that, is what requirements do we have to fulfill with that report?
I can feedback with that.
In terms, so we can comply with the laws here in Sweden. And once we know that, we know how to do that.
Okay.
And also, I know that there are several ways to communicate with Skattemyndigheten, with the tax authorities. So we can either communicate online, which is the smoothest, way to do it. But the easiest solution is, of course, that we generate paper reports and you send them in. But and everything in between, basically, we can.
I think we probably will be starting with our own report and then hand it in.
Yeah.
The reason is that there are so many other payment systems as well, so we have to combine at the end of the month and send it.
But since you have everything saved in the database about all orders, when they are created, who created them, how much, etc., etc. So generating reports from that database is not a big thing, as long as we know what information you need in that report and how you have to break it down, basically.
Yeah, at my end, I will look into the requirements on this report, what format is needed.
Yeah. And also, what is it? We have 12% VAT.
For food is 12% VAT.
Yeah.
For services is 25%.
Yeah.
But since this is about food, we can stick to 12%.
12%. Yeah. Okay. But these are also requirements that we will, So what we do, we start building the bare minimum, and when we add features to that, right? Hey, Sampriti, how you doing?
Hello.
How are you? Welcome.
Good. I just joined in the background. Didn't mean to disturb. So.
No problems. Do you have any input so far?
No, I'm just listening to figure out how everything works. So not much input till now.
Cool. Well, this is a standard application. There's not much to work on. There are certain requirements that we're talking about now that has to do with the Swedish law about taxes and about reporting, etc., etc. But these are fairly straightforward obstacles that we can, overcome. And did you catch the part where we were talking about that? One part of this project is to develop a back-end application for this business, and another part is to...
Your mic is a bit...
so we can communicate.
It's hard to hear.
Yeah, all right. And my idea was, if we make this, bare minimum front end for these guys, we can use the Sinatra app for that, because, we don't need any active record models in there. But rather communicate through JSON. Does that make sense?
Can you say that again? It was a bit hard to hear.
If we wanna develop a front end application that communicates with the back, with the back end, and where customers can actually view menus and place orders. I was thinking about developing a Sinatra application for that, and a Rails app for the back end. Separate.
That would be okay, but is there a reason why you want to separate the front end and back end? Why not just make it one app?
Because what we want to do is we want to have this API open, so other developers can have go at developing a native iOS or native Android application.
That can be done with a single app as well.
But basically, out of a learning experience for us, I would like to build this as a service. And
that would be
from scratch. Assign this front end building task to somebody with an Agile venture, so they know how to use services.
I think that wouldn't be a problem. You can always have a backend app as just a Rails API app, and in the front end you can use maybe Sinatra, or you could use a JavaScript framework as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I was thinking about that as well, because there could be people that want to learn, either Ember or Angular, or there's a lot of talk about this new React framework that Facebook recently released open source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is definitely possible to have just a Rails app as a backend, and then maybe that would make it easier to work on. Like it will make it more modular, but
Yeah.
we'll have to discuss on that. So it won't be a problem.
Cool. All right. So these are the ground rules. And again, open source is very important. Communication is very important. So
yeah, absolutely. And I'm in, and I'll be happy to be joining all the different meetings where you think I can bring some value.
Cool. So we have to understand that there's a lot of people working in very remote places, like Sapriti is in India, and we have a lot of people in the United States, as I was showing you, etc. So there is this time zone issue.
I understand.
So I think Raul is the guy that Raul is in South Africa and Aaron is in Costa Rica, I think. So we have to.
How do you match?
Yeah, it's not always easier, right, Sapriti?
Yeah, the developer meetings are usually late night for me, so it's hard to attend.
Yeah, I think you're like 7 hours ahead of me, or what is it?
No, I'm like 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of UTC, like London time.
Oh, so 3:45 ahead of me from Sweden. Yeah.
It's a bit better, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, but some of the Americans are asleep right now, on the East Coast. Yeah. So okay, so that'll be all. Any questions, Sapriti?
No, I need to find some time and take a look at the dev meeting, I guess. No other questions for now.
Yeah, it's you can jump ahead at like 20 minutes because we were just, doing some small talk. But what we did last night, we kind of defined, and I kind of validated that today, that the most important models we will be working on is the orders, the client, the admin, menu, and dish. You understand all the reasoning behind that when you look at the dev meeting. Cool. All right. Okay, so I think that's a wrap for now. And what we can do is I can get back to you, I'll grab your email so I can send the invites to you. And we can start setting, talk to the other guys. I will talk to the other guys and set a time for some stuff. So you can, arrange your schedule if that fits into that today, or, if we can make any changes, we can agree upon something.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks for the day.
All right. If there's nothing else we need to coordinate, Sapriti, I'll be ending this now.
Yeah, sure. Go on.
All right. And I talk to you.